If you think your power bills are high, spare a thought for Peter Haylock and his family. He says they were overcharged 400% every quarter for 15 years. It all came down to a dodgy meter, and Peter worries other families are also being unfairly slugged.
I mean, the emotion I might show towards it is just because of the absolute frustration I'm in.
Meet Peter Haylock.
Financially, sure, it hurts. And you think back and you think, OK, we've had some damage done to us.
He's a power warrior.
It's just like talking to a rock. Each time you ring them, they just ignore you. They're just a machine. It's just a system. You get it in the end. It's just like there's no one in there that can really communicate with you or help you.
This is, I guess, evidence of the battle you've been fighting for 15 years.
Yeah, it's the complaints. I wouldn't say it's a fight because they're not. Yeah, they just do what they do. You can't argue with them.
The Sydney father of two has taken on the might of one of the country's largest electricity companies and won. Well, sort of.
Yeah.
As if that justifies anything. Seriously.
This story began in 2005.
The day they put the new meter in, it went from $400 or $500 back 15 years ago, straight up to $1,800.
That bill was the first salvo in this 15-year campaign.
The last time we spoke to them that year, in 2005, they said, "Welcome to the real world, your old meter was lazy."
Ever since, Peter has been at war with power retailers Integral and Origin, as well as electricity supplier Endeavour Energy, all because he was charged 5 times more for electricity for his modest 4-bedroom home in Sydney's west.
So for every $100, I'm paying $500.
That amounted to between $2,000 and $3,000 a quarter.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Peter has spent countless hours on the telephone trying to get to the bottom of it.
So you just can't argue with them. They by duress, you have to pay for that.
And it's almost extortion, isn't it, really, in a way, if they're forcing
It's almost criminal.
If the Haylocks stood their ground, they were threatened with having their power cut off.
Here you go. There's the final notice ones that you asked for.
Yeah. How many of those did we get?
How could you even manage to pay a bill of that size?
Yeah. we look back, we haven't had holidays in 15 years. We haven't upgraded vehicles in a long time.
How were you surviving during this period?
We were living like mosquitoes.
The family even moved out for 3 months and, you guessed it, their bill was still massive.
That was the alarm bell for us when we weren't here for 3 months, and still an $858 bill.
Finally, Origin agreed to check out the Haylocks meter and just have a listen to what they were told.
They checked it and the guy that was here said it was out 400%.
400%?
400, yeah. It equates to a lot of money. It's $90,000 over 15 years.
Peter Haylock obtained an ombudsman's report verifying the meter's error. Eventually, Origin installed a new meter. Peter ensured he held on to the old one.
Is this the offending meter?
Yes, that's the meter, yep. A guy that came out and checked the meter, he said, these come from a family of known problems. They shouldn't even be in existence.
Peter Haylock searched Google and discovered a power company in the United States was sued in a class action over exactly the same meters. Even with the new meter installed, it took 3 months for Origin to act on what was clearly an overcharged debacle.
We just got a credit for $12,000.
The Haylocks maintain that doesn't even go close to covering what they lost. The excuse, they were told, there was a statute of limitations.
And even the Ombudsman said they're within their right to only go back so far. It doesn't matter how long you've been complaining for. It doesn't matter how much money they've taken off you. They can only go back so far.
And when the Haylocks questioned the $12,000 refund, it fell on deaf ears.
Even the Ombudsman said, wow, that's pretty good, that's a lot of money.
The Haylocks have thought about taking legal action.
But who's got a lazy $50,000 to $100,000 to fight the big end of town for, you know, at the end of the day, everyone else is going to get rich, and it just makes you think, is it worth it?
So they've all but given up.
They wouldn't mind spending $1 million just to save face. You know, at the end of the day, they don't want anyone walking away saying, yeah, I had a win.
While their bills have come down to $600 or $700 a quarter, Peter Haylock is worried there are other victims out there.
People that are really struggling, particularly in these times, and they might be getting ripped off in electricity, maybe only 10%, maybe 50%, who would know?
And so, Peter, where to now for you? Where do you go?
Well, I don't know. What do? You just, you know, we've been ripped off, and there's probably thousands and thousands of people out there, even industry. There's probably factories out there that have got that same meter, and they don't know. They're just paying it. You know, I mean, who's going to question it? You think it's right.
Well, since we filmed that report, there has finally been a breakthrough for the Haylocks. Late today, Origin apologised for the distress caused to the couple. Further, it will work with Endeavour Energy to ensure Peter receives a full refund for any overcharges. A great outcome.